entrepreneurs of my institution and my mother's conservatism with the high elite's liberal outlook towards life. As time went by, the frequency of my letters lessened till I was left with the telephone calls. Every time I sketched a whole new story telling about the busy schedules, but deep inside I could feel the guilt lurking through every string of my conscience that was but fully awake. I am beginning to lose the precious thing I once felt for her, I often told myself. But if there is anything more untamed than a wild beast, it is the essence of human clay that makes us forget all the feelings of regret. It portrays the pains of a mother in the words little bird's heart. But in the end, all it took was a single look at her face to cleanse the many adulterated thoughts dwelling in the corridors of my mind. With the simplest and sententious words, she could convey the most powerful thoughts of wisdom, making me fie on having taken her for granted. Fear, anger, embarrassment, indifference, all my feelings ended up in action with a single word, Mama. I thought she was a drug that kept me from dying, though my instinct suggested something not my heart wanted to accept. That night, I was there helping her take medicines just like a mother would do. She was weak, making noises as a child, saying things that I never understood. And then I saw it, the sublimation of a sacred soul from the bodily constraints, leaving my world in darkness. Here's this alley, this blind alley where I stand in a world of my own with all my celebrations that seem to have personified so well till I hear the little one crying from the other corner. As this little creature, my child, crawls nearer, my heart seems to shrink with every cry she makes. Here in my lap, I hold her tight when every look into her eyes reminds me of those bright black eyes. They transport me back to my idol I once called Mama. Mama, a universal expression of love, sacrifice and care, and what is left for my eyes. Carrying the tears of joy, they fancy the sight of my child who is a part of me. A part I have breathed within and felt within. Her little cry would mean the whole world to me, and having her out of sight for a single moment makes me smile at my own. A smile at my worries for her, a smile at the power of love for my little creature, and a smile at her mama's heart, her mama's little birdie heart. Today, when my mother is gone, spaces that seem to have filled their emptiness in my life till eternity are so well replaced by my daughter. Just like my past is the reflection of my present, my daughter is the reflection of my mother. For we three share the same legacy of motherhood. My mother rests in peace, but she is not dead. She is still with me. She marks her presence everywhere around me in the being of my little daughter. If not today, tomorrow my daughter would be the same source of comfort in my last days. The way my mother had been in my earliest part of my life. She would help me take the supper and her kids would be my toys. She would alleviate my pains before I am past. It would be only to her that my absence would matter, because my daughter would understand what I would have said, because my daughter would feel for me what none other would ever do, because my daughter would be by my side when all others have left, because my daughter is my mother. With some poems from renowned feminist poets like Ishwar Sahi, Fahmida Riaz and Ishrat Afri, who write poetry of defiance and resistance, poetry of subversion of the patriarchal structures. The first is a ghazal by, I recite this in Urdu first and then in English, just to give you the cadences of the and the sounds. जिन्हें के उम्र भर सुहाग की दुआएं दी, सुना है अपनी चूड़ियां ही पीस कर वो पी गईं। बहुत है ये रिवायतों का जहर सारी उम्र को, जो तलखियां हमारे आंचलों में बांध दी गईं। कभी न ऐसी फसल मेरे गांव में हुई कि जब कसम के बदले चुनरियां गुलाब से रंगी गईं। वो जिनके पैरहन की खुशबुएं हवा पे कर्ज थीं, रुतों की वो उदास शहजादियां चली गईं। उन उंगलियों को चूमना भी बदअतें शुमार हो, वो जिनसे खाक पर नमू की आयतें लिखी गईं। सरों का ये लगान अब के फसल कौन ले गया, ये किसकी खेतियां थी और किसको सौंप दी गईं। Now the translation. All their lives long their marriages were blessed with prayer, but they crushed their own glass bangles to drink, I hear. Enough poison there is of traditions to last us a lifetime. From sorrows they gave us knotted inside our veils. Never was there a harvest in my village when the rose, not the kusum, should have dyed our veils. To the fragrances of their apparel the wind owed a debt, those sad princesses of all seasons who now have left. Even kissing those fingers is reckoned a sin, which inscribe on dust the verses of creation. Who stole the levies on the harvest this year to keep? Tell me who owns these fields and who has them to keep. Now, another poem by Keshwar, one of the leading feminist poets as well as women's rights activist, and her work has been translated into many languages and she is internationally acclaimed. And this is a free verse. I'll first read it in Urdu, then the translation. हम गुनाहगार औरतें, ये हम गुनाहगार औरतें हैं जो अहले जुब्बा की तमकनत से न रोब खाएं, न जान बेचें, न सर झुकाएं, न हाथ जोड़ें, न